All right, hi. Hey, David Stevens. All right, we are now on to MK University Week 5, Part 5, all about the Mary Kay Way and emotional management. Two very important topics, right? So I hope you have the fill in the blank sheet here that we're going to go through as we go through this Week 5 of our MK University. So you'll want to print that out and have that with you. There's homework at the very end that you just will simply take a picture of, send it to me, let me know that you have finished your homework. Okay, so we're going to have two parts to this training. The first part is the Mary Kay Way, a little bit of background about Mary Kay, about our company, and our philosophies. And then this part two is something super important, and that is emotional management. And I'm actually really excited to share with you guys what I have about the emotional management because it is such an important topic in keeping us staying positive as entrepreneurs. You know, we don't go into work every day. We don't have our boss making us do anything. We're our own boss. And so there's going to be specific things that we want to do to really keep ourselves in the zone, keep ourselves focused, and most importantly, keep ourselves positive. And so we do go through a lot of, the longer you stick with us here in Mary Kay, the more you are going to learn some of these emotional management tools that will help you to not only be more successful in your business for sure, but will also help you just in your everyday life with family, with friends, with coworkers, with your kids. It's great tools for life. So another thing I love about Mary Kay is it just helps in general with life. Okay, so let's get started with the Mary Kay part one, the Mary Kay way. We are just so privileged that we are part of a company with a woman who is a pioneer for us, who believed in women, who really was God driven in her dream for herself, her dream for women. And so Mary Kay Ash, she was an original. She was absolutely an original. She was an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and she started her business from a tiny store in Dallas, Texas, with 5 products and one big dream. That dream was to inspire women to transform their lives, and in doing so, help other women achieve success. So if you're looking here at the fill in the blank, the very first fill in the blank, so now, over 50 years later, we have how many beauty consultants worldwide? The blank there is 3.5 million worldwide. I think that's so amazing. When you think about this business started with just one woman. She serviced 9 consultants on her team, 5 products back in 1963, which actually is one of the blank there. All right, so now we're 3.5 million. All right, the next blank is the number of countries that Mary Kay is in. That's 35 countries. That's that blank. 35 countries around the world. And then the last blank, year Mary Kay Ash began this company is 1963. September 13th, 1963 is when the doors opened to Mary Kay's company. So super awesome that not only her dream has gone through all the many hundreds, thousands of women here in the United States, but it's now transforming lives all over the world in 35 different countries. And I love that because it just shows that the Mary Kay philosophies and the Mary Kay way, they have no language barrier, they have no cultural barrier. It speaks to us as women. And there's women who are changing their entire family futures here in the US, but also even more dramatically in other places in the world. So it's just really neat to think about the difference that she's making in other countries as well. And then I listed here too a few of Mary Kay Ash's honors. I'm not going to go through all of them, but they're basically all about how she's listed as one of the greatest female entrepreneurs in American history, and just one of the most outstanding women in business. And so, when you have those naysayers or those skeptics, you can point to some of these things and be like, no, she's like a real like universities, different organizations, business organizations have noted her as the gold standard, as an outstanding business person in our history. And so that's pretty awesome. She's named as one of the 25 most influential business leaders of the last 25 years. One of the most influential business leaders. So just a lot of really amazing accolades that she has just from the business world in general. I also listed here just a really quick 2-minute video that you can click on if you're looking at the Google Doc. or of course you can type that in, or go to Mary Kay's YouTube video, and you can YouTube channel, excuse me, and you can see that there. All right, so let's move on to the Mary Kay principles. Let's start with number one. And I hope you're so proud of these principles because you are now part of a company that these are the ways that I got to pause there for a second. So the principles that Mary Kay began the company with, and now the company still is abiding by these. You know, and that's the principles from 1963 and to now. Most companies do not stick to those principles. They become way more politically correct and those kind of things. But with Mary Kay, we stick to these because it is a privately owned company, and so we can. So number one, the first principle I'm going to share with you is the Golden Rule principle. The Golden Rule, that's the first point there. And so a couple of points about the Golden Rule I'm going to give you a couple ways that we apply this. So of course, the Golden Rule is that we want to treat each other the way that we want to be treated. Treat others the way that you want to be treated. So that applies to, number one, just how we treat other people, whether they're the customers at our parties, whether they're the guests at our parties, guests at our meetings, whether they're the women that we're talking to on the phone with booking, whether it's the fact that we don't hound people, just the way that we treat each other is the way that we would want to be treated. We imagine one of my favorite stories about Mary Kay, one of my favorite quotes from Mary Kay is that she taught us over and over and over to imagine an imaginary sign around people's necks that says, make me feel important. And that is part of the Golden Rule. We all want to feel important and appreciated, and so we help to make others feel that way too. And it's a huge way that we can enrich women's lives at our parties by looking at women in the eye and listening and talking less and asking more questions and listening to them and trying our best to remember their names, and we follow up with them, and if they've had a new baby, or if they've recently moved or recently gone on vacation, or their kids are going back to school, ask about those things. Make sure that you connect with them on a personal level as well, whether it's your customers or team members. That makes people feel important when you remember things. I'll oftentimes take little notes on their profile cards, or I'm booking with somebody and she said, oh, you know what, I'm about to leave on vacation tomorrow. Can you call me when I get back? So I'm sure, when should I call you back? So then I put a little note so I remember when I call her back. I'm like, how was your family vacation? Did you have a great time? How was the weather? You can talk to her about it, and just shows that I do go that extra mile and I do care. But I do have to take notes because I will forget if I don't. But just that Golden Rule of the way that we treat people, the way that we want to be treated, make them feel valued and make them feel important. The other way that we apply the Golden Rule is the way we treat our sister consultants. And so we have, many women who are in Mary Kay here in the U.S. and, are just in our own town, in our own church, in our own community, in our own schools, all those kind of stuff. And so we want to be sure that we treat our sister consultants the same way that we would want to be treated. So a couple of examples of that is that, we don't steal each other's customers. So if I'm at a party and I hear that somebody has, someone says, oh yeah, I have a Mary Kay consultant, or I love your cleanser, and I love your moisture. They're talking about their products. I'll usually ask, oh, you have a consultant? And if they're like, yeah, I do. Or if they're like, well, okay, well, what's her name? If she knows her name, then she has a consultant for sure. So then I'll just let her know, she wants to support her friend, the hostess. She can, but I'm not going to book with her. I'm not going to book a career survey with her. I'm not going to put her on my customer list. I'm going to send her back to her consultant for sure. If I am calling somebody to book with them and they say I'm talking to them and I realize they have a consultant, I'm going to send her back to her consultant. Same thing with a prospect. If I'm talking with her about my business and then she ends up telling me, oh yeah, my consultant, I'm going to send her back to her consultant. And so that's just how we would the Mary Kay way, that we would not want to steal anybody. We wouldn't anyone stole from us. And so we don't steal anybody from others as well. Now, an exception might be if it's like, my sisters, when I started doing Mary Kay, they left their consultant and they started purchasing from me and booking with me and all those kind of things. And that just makes sense too. That's part of the Golden Rule as well. I would want my sisters to be on my team. So if one of my customers' sisters starts Mary Kay, I'm going to be like, sure, yeah, have her be your consultant from now on, totally fine. So, so those are kind of the exceptions. There's like best friends and family members, can definitely come to you when you become a consultant. So yeah, so we just kind of want to always, if you have any gray areas, you can always ask me, but you kind of want to have that in your mind as a golden rule as we are treating our other sister consultants. Okay, number 2, the second fill in the blank here, is of Mary Kay principles is God first, family second, and career third. God first, family second, and career third. And these were Mary Kay Ash's principles of her life. She said that she believed that if these priorities, if these were her priorities were in this order of God first, family second, career third, that everything would run like smoothly. Everything would work and feel right, like feel harmonious. But whenever we kind of get those things out of order, then that's when things start to become chaotic and then they just don't feel right in our spirit. So, so I love that. And one of the things I love about our business is that we get amazing mentors. We get to be under mentors who, especially in our national area, like with Leah Laughlin and our senior national, Julia Burnett and Pam Shaw, they live this. They live this, and they get to give us examples and give us practical teaching as to what this looks like to live that way. With God first, family second, and career third. To live a life of balance and to live a life that we do get that flexibility. And flexibility does not mean that we don't have to work. It just means we get to choose when we work. And it means we get to choose how much or how little we work. And so I love the practical help that we will get if you stick with us and you really plug in to all of the different training opportunities. You will really get a lot of practical help with this that, again, will apply this to life. Okay, number three of Mary Kay Ash's principles is that she believed in recognition of accomplishment. That's your blank. Recognition of accomplishment. So a few examples of that would be that she believed in giving us prizes. And Mary Kay liked to call them princess prizes because she knew that as women, a lot of times if we would receive cash prizes, which we do receive cash prizes, we do love our cash prizes, but if we get commissions, and all this, okay, keep reading, sorry. But if we got a lot of just prizes, cash prizes only, then she knew that as women that we would probably spend a lot of that on our kids, or we would pay extra bills, or we would, do something for our husband, or something like that, something practical. And so she wanted to give us prizes like diamond rings, like luxurious trips, like designer purses, and sorry, it keeps reading here. Okay, so princess prizes. Also, she would like to recognize her accomplishments by praising women to success. She believed that if you had any sort of constructive criticism, it needed to be sandwiched between 2 layers of praise. That was one of her guidelines. But that when we praise women to success, that we would feel confident. We wanted to focus in on what is she doing well? What can we encourage her in? What can we build her up with? And give her a safe place to feel confident. And because when we're confident, we're going to do our best job. We're going to do our best work. And we're going to go further. We're going to work harder. And that's what she believed, and that's what she put into the principles of Mary Kay. And so that was all on the lines of wanting to recognize accomplishment. All right, number 4, the blank here is one of the principles was positivity and fun. Actually, when one way that she did this was her meetings and our events, like our bigger events, like seminar, fall advance, January jump. These are some of the events that we have, the bigger events where you really get to see even a bigger picture. And we have like little dance parties. It sounds really funny if you never seen one, you're like, you have what? We have little dance parties in the aisleway, like before and in between, like different like sessions. And it is so amazing to me every time to watch these women, women of all ages, of all backgrounds, of all cultures, of all ethnicities. Like we are suddenly these like fun young girls again let their hair down and just like have fun. It's like we go into work and we have to be this like professional, it's serious, and we have to talk in a certain way, and we have to be with certain. When we come home, we have to be strong for our kids, and we have to be disciplinarian sometimes, and we have to multitask and do all these things. And we come to a Mary Kay meeting, and we come to a Mary Kay bigger event, and it's like we can just be a girl. We can just have fun. We can just enjoy ourselves and be positive and just kind of like be like our inner self, just like let her out. And it's just really fun, and it's an amazing place to grow. And so Mary Kay wanted a place that we could come where we could be positive and we could have fun. And so when you enter a Mary Kay space, whether it be your meeting or an event or a bigger event, like I just named, leave your drama at the door. That's one of our principles. We just leave our drama, just leave it at the door. If you just came from, like I did when I was a teacher, I would often come from a very draining, emotionally draining day. Just a really like tiring. I was worn out. I would come a lot of times to my meetings with headaches. And even sometimes now as a mom, with young kids, I come like just like physically tired, and worn out, and again maybe like not feeling totally great. But I want to come to my meeting because the crazy thing is when you're around that positivity, I promise you, you will leave with your spirits completely turned upside down. I can't tell you how many times my headache, I went in with a headache, I almost didn't go, I left, no headache. It's amazing what can happen physically to our bodies when we're around energy-giving people, positive people, and when we have our mindset switched from this draining, negative situation to a positive, fun, uplifting environment. Just even saying that, it's like a breath of fresh air. It can physically change us. So I just encourage you always, no matter how you feel, to go to your meetings and go to your events, because I promise you, you're going to maybe feel like not going because you're tired, because you have a lot going on. But I promise you, and you will not regret it. You will leave and you'll be like, I'm so glad I went. I could tell you so many stories where I felt that way, where I almost didn't go, and I thought, you know what? Out of integrity, out of the fact that I said I was going to go, that's the only reason why I'm going. But I'm keeping my word, out of respect for the business, out of respect for the leaders who have prepared for me. I'm going to go. And I would leave, I'd be like, that was the best decision I made. I'm so glad I did that for myself. So I just encourage you to do that as well. So, okay, so now moving on from our Mary Kay principles, moving on to our company programs. So I'm going to go over these real quickly here, and I have some links that you can get more. I'll actually put the Google Doc on our unit website here. You can kind of click on the link, these different links here, because I didn't want to go totally into it to take up that much time. But I want you to, if you want to look at more, I want you to feel free to read more, because you should be so proud of our company programs that we have. I know I am, and I was proud as I was writing these out. I was like, we all should know about these, and we should feel so proud to be a part of a company that not only enriches women's lives through amazing skincare products and makeup that makes us feel, sit up a little taller and feel a little bit better as we, go on our date nights, or, we go home or we go into work and we just feel just a little bit better, because we aren't so self-conscious. We say sometimes that when you don't, like, when you go like into work or you just go out and about, like I look horrendous. Like, I've done that before, and like I just basically rolled out of bed and put on some clothes and like went to the store. And you're like more self-conscious. At least I am. And it's harder for me to be others focused when I am self-conscious about myself. And so I'm going to do everything I can. Everything within my ability, or that of where God's growing me to internally, but definitely just, a little dash out the door look, wash my face, a little mascara, lip gloss. That's fine on a lot of days. Just helps me feel a little bit less self-conscious, and it helps me to be able to be more others focused and to give instead of kind of being like, self-focused. So just a little tidbit for you. But we not only do that on the helping them enrich women's lives on the outside, but we help them just with some of these programs here. First, the number one is that we have a satisfaction guarantee on all of our products. And it's a great thing to share at your parties because we want to be sure that Mary Kay is something that women are not stuffing into that drawer and like the black hole that you pull it out like 3 months later and you're like, oh yeah, I totally forgot I had those products. I haven't used them at all. Or the drawer where you kind of put things you don't really use. We don't want Mary Kay in those drawers or in those bags. We want it to be things. We want the products to be products that women are using and they fit their skin tight and they like them. We have 100% guarantee on all of our products. And when a girl returns or exchanges a product with you, you can actually do the product replacement program on Mary Kay in Touch. I give a video about going through how to do it on our YouTube channel. And Mary Kay will replace that item for you for free and free of shipping, so that essentially you're getting your money back. And you're not losing money by doing that. Okay, number two. Number two is that we have a Pink Doing Green program. Again, you can click there for more. But the first thing that we do in our Pink Doing Green program is we do have planting trees program. The second one is that we have a recycling program. And this was really neat when I was reading all about it. We have an extensive recycling program from our product line packaging to the little peanuts that come in there. They're biodegradable. To the paper we use, the plastic, the cardboard, the ink cartridges. We have an old cell phone program. You can turn in your old cell phone. Our compacts are recyclable. Aluminum. We have a zero landfill site. Our corporate buildings are a zero landfill site. We're one of the first corporate companies to do that. We have a renewable material. We use renewable materials for product packaging. And our corporate facilities are energy. They have energy conservation at corporate facilities. You can kind of see how we've reduced our carbon footprint at our corporate offices. Really cool. All right, number three is that we also have the Pink Changing Lives, which this would be done through our Mary Kay Charitable Foundation, Mary Kay Ash Charitable Foundation, which I'm just so proud of as well. So we give in our charitable foundation to two main causes. We do grants for domestic violence shelters. We also have started supporting a company that goes into high school and helps to teach young girls what a healthy relationship looks like and what it doesn't look like. We also support a company that does a text program that girls can text if they have questions about a relationship, if they're not sure if it's healthy or not, if they're not sure if it's abusive or not, or they know that it is, they can text for help. So we're some really awesome programs. We're starting to also help with prevention, as well as giving grants to domestic violence shelters for women and children. The second cause we give to is research for cancers that affect women. There's some really amazing videos if you kind of click on these links here about the specific things that we've done for both of those causes. And there's also every country that Mary Kay is in, there's a different cause. There's a different cause that the foundation supports for that country, and it kind of depends on what is like on the hearts of the people in that country. So it's really interesting and really neat. I love even reading about that and seeing what each country's cause is. But I'm very proud of the one here in the U.S. All right, so that's a little bit about the Mary Kay Way, who we are as a company, who Mary Kay was as a person, and her principles. And now we're going to move on to part two. And part two is on emotional management. All right, so did you know that that about 86% of people who start businesses do not follow through and continue on in their business? And a majority of that 86% is women. And you know why? You know why most people don't continue? Number one, they give up too soon. They simply give up too soon. And number two, it's because of emotional management. And so I want to just encourage you, because the only way to truly fail is to quit. I honestly believe that you cannot fail in Mary Kay. You cannot fail in Mary Kay, because every disappointment I've had, everything, believe me, I have been through everything. I've like totally botched my booking calls. I've like said silly stuff, embarrassing things. Like I've had great parties. I've had amazing parties. I've had fun parties. And I've had crazy parties. And I've had parties where I, like, sold a mascara and that's it. And I was like, I've had all sorts of things. I've had all sorts of things happen. If it has happened to you and you've boxed me about it, I promise you I'll probably be like, it's happened to me too many times. But I've gotten some thick skin. And that's what I encourage you to do is to get some thick skin and to just stick with it. Anything in life that's worth having, we're going to stick with it. I think a lot of us in our generation, we're used to that. We're like that microwave society. And we're used to things happening like that. And we give up if it hasn't happened after our first. I've had girls who have like 2 parties and they give up. And it's almost mind-boggling to me. Don't be that girl. Don't be that girl that does 1, 2, 3 parties, 4 parties. It hasn't even done a whole power star. It hasn't even been Mary Kay for a whole year. Give it a year. Give it a whole year where you're really working. And see how you can grow that business. Any business. I don't care if it's Mary Kay or if you're a doctor or if you're a hairdresser or what business you start. It's going to take at least a year to get it up off the ground. So plug in. You're on this training. I'm preaching to the choir. You're doing a great job. And just keep at it and ask questions. And when you're disappointed or when you have something great happen or a frustration happen, either one, talk to me about it. I would love to hear about either one and coach you through that. All right. So here's these blanks up here. This is going to be our emotional cycle that we go through. And this is going to happen in Mary Kay. This is going to happen when you have a new boyfriend. Okay. It's going to happen, with any new job. It's going to happen all the time. Okay, this is just like an emotional cycle, but it is going to happen in Mary Kay. It is. Not if, it's when. And so we want to kind of be prepared for it. So when it happens, you're like, Allison told me what's going to happen. So the first blank is that you're going to start off being really excited. Excited. Oh my goodness. I have this new starter kit. I have this new bag. Look at all these products. Oh my goodness, I could earn cars. Like, you're going to be so excited. You're going to get some good feedback maybe right away. You're going to be like, I'm so excited. All right, then you're going to get going. And then some kind of disappointment. That's blank number 2. Disappointment. Disappointment's going to hit. It's inevitable. What in life is only a smooth road? What in life only the positive happens? Like, that's not real life. And so don't take it as like, oh my goodness, it's a sign. I'm not supposed to do Mary Kay because a party canceled or 2 parties canceled, or that recruit that you're wanting all of a sudden decides not to do Mary Kay. Like this, expect that something, that's life, right? So we're going to have some sort of disappointment, which can then lead to blank number 3, which is frustration. Absolutely normal. If you feel frustrated, I've been there, okay? I've been frustrated. I felt that way definitely more than one time. So that's when you want to voice your concerns to me. Don't hold it in. Talk to your recruiter, talk to me, and let us coach you through that and help you with it. If you have the mindset that any disappointment or frustration is a problem just waiting to be solved, if you have that mindset that I am willing to learn through this, I'm going to get stronger from it. I'm going to get smarter from it. I'm going to learn what works better. Maybe I thought this worked, but maybe I should talk to my director and find out what really does work, because maybe what I thought worked doesn't actually work, So be humble enough to voice your frustration and be coachable enough to allow us to help you through it and coach you through it. And I promise you can get to the other side if you're willing to work along with us. And the blank number 4 is the other side. That blank is recommitment. Recommitment. So we go from excited to kind of, so the disappointment happens, you kind of feel frustrated, or you feel really frustrated, and we choose to look at it as, I'm going to get stronger, and we recommit. And then something else is going to happen, we get super excited, and we're going to go through that cycle all over again. So you're going to move up. The way you're going to move up quickly, the way you're going to promote yourself quickly, is how fast you can get through this cycle. How fast. So if you are like, I'm moving slow through this cycle, it's okay. You're in a safe place. You're in a place where you can really learn some practical tips of how to move more quickly through these cycles and how to not let a disappointment or a frustration in your business like ruin everything, or the other way around. You're in a place where you're going to be learning if you stay plugged in, if you continue going to your meetings, if you continue going to events, if you continue being on things like this. You're going to learn how to also not allow life, things outside of Mary Kay, a bad day at work, an argument with your husband or your boyfriend, a rude text that you just got. You're going to learn how to not allow that to ruin your Mary Kay business. It's not going to shut down your day. It doesn't have to shut down your day. It does not have to. We can learn, we can grow, and we can become stronger mentally and emotionally. So stick with us and you'll continue to learn that. I know I have learned so much. I'm like a different, emotionally strong person than I was when I first started back in 2007. Like, so different. I'm continuing to grow, absolutely. All right. So a few ways that, so some things that I'm going to go over, some ways that you can help yourself to stay positive, because one of the practical tips I'll give you to help you get through that emotional cycle faster is to be intentional, daily and intentional about staying positive, putting positive things into your mind. So here are some of the things. I'm going to list for you several things that I do and have done that help me to stay positive. Or if I am in a place of disappointment, how can I get through that cycle faster? Get back to the recommitment, back to being excited, back to this good feeling. Okay, so one thing I do is I create a goal poster with visuals. And that goal poster helps me to remember why I'm doing this. A picture of that vacation you want to go on, a picture of that house that you would love, the dream house you would love to be saving for, picture of debt you've crossed out, that you're like, I'm gonna have financial freedom. You know, whatever it may be, put it on a goal poster, put some positive quotes on there, and remind yourself of why you're going to continue. Positive affirmations. Positive affirmations. I have a sheet in the front of my journal that just basically has Bible verses and positive affirmations on it. I basically took any kind of doubt that I had, any negativity, and I just turned it around. So if when I was a new consultant, I would say things like, I am so scared to book. Like, I'm like pulling teeth to get people to book with me. That's what I was afraid of. And so if I was constantly thinking, I'm so scared to book, if I'm constantly thinking a negative thought, I'm never going to not be scared. Because how am I going to get unscared if I'm always telling myself I'm scared? You know, like, how am I going to book with and have fun and feel I'm giving a service to women if I'm constantly telling myself that nobody wants to book? Like, it's just not going to happen. So I started taking those things, and instead of saying I'm so scared to book, I started saying I'm in the process of becoming a master at booking. I love having parties. Women love to have parties with me. I have a fun party. I have a great service to offer women. So I started taking the things that I felt nervous about, and I didn't want to stay there, and I turned them into positive affirmations. Other things, music, positive quotes, Bible verses, sermons that really get my mind into a positive place, like podcasts. You can also look up your favorite pastors on YouTube. Attending meetings and events regularly, staying in regular daily communication with your director, your boxer. Of course, just attending trainings, and then just working. Just moving into action is a huge way that helps me stay positive. If I feel down, if I feel kind of like disappointed, I got to get a party on my books. I got to do something that gets me working, and it's going to get my mindset back into a powerful place instead of a defeated place. All right. So last but not least, my success tips. And I actually thought through, like, what were some of the emotionally and mentally strong things that I did and the way that I think when I was a new consultant that helped me to continue all the way from 2007 and going on. Like, what made me be able to do that? So these are from my personal story. So number one is understand people. Understand people. I try to be understanding of people. I understand like the before. I understand not every single person is going to say yes to doing a party. Like that would be very ridiculous if I got offended or disappointed every time somebody said no. Every time somebody said, this just isn't a good time for me, of course there's going to be people who it's not a good time for them. I've been there before. I've been there before where, we're in the midst of moving or there's a brand new baby or something. And not that I'm going to assume that every single person in my situation where I felt I was too busy, that they feel that way. Because I've also been around girls who just had a new baby and they can't wait to get out of the house. And they're like, yes, and yes, I will have a facial. Like, I cannot wait. Okay, so even though I maybe felt, I would also caution you on that. And this is something that I did well too. Even though I felt maybe like when I had a new baby, I didn't want to leave the house. I'm not going to put that on somebody else. I just try to understand that not everybody's like me. And also that not everybody wants what I want. Some will, some won't. Oh well. Oh well. Oh well. That's what I say. Some will, some won't. Oh well. Okay, moving on. I will find the people who want to. Think about how many women, think of how many commercials on TV, how many ads are in magazines that are about skincare and makeup. If you watch like a movie that's like a romantic comedy on TV, you're going to see mostly all cosmetic and skincare advertisements. Why? Because women love that stuff. Love it. We're like into it. Okay? So don't ever think that women don't want a facial and a makeover, because they do. Okay? So if you're finding a lot of no's, it means you need to tweak your script. Okay? That's all it means. You need to tweak your wording. You talk to me, and I'll help. But just understand that there are some who won't. Okay? Some won't, some won't. Oh well. All right. Number 2. Focus your mind on what you can do, what you can control, what is going well. Okay, so we can often let our mind go to like, no, this and this and this is, going wrong. Well, what about the things that went well? Because there's always positives that you did do. So focus on what you can do and what you can control. You can't control who picks up their phone. You can't control who says yes. You can't control who shows up to the guest event. You can't control who signs up on your team. But you can control you've asked. You can control that you have called people until somebody says yes to the booking. You can control that you coach your hostess. Okay, so focus on what you can do that will help you to keep going. Another thing that I did is I looked at every disappointment as an opportunity to learn. I mentioned this earlier. I looked at every disappointment as an opportunity to learn. I really did. I really did from the beginning. I just was sharing this with my son. My husband was watching his favorite team over the weekend. I forget what it was, but recently, and they literally lost in the last 4 seconds. It was like the craziest game in the last. Okay, so my husband was like, no, and then of course my son was like, no, and he was like, my son was like kind of, he's 5, okay, he was like acting upset about it, and I just told him, I said, sometimes we never want to try to lose, we never want to lose, but sometimes like a failure is good, because you know what it does is it teaches us, or where's our weak spot. It teaches us how we need to grow. It teaches us what we need to learn to get stronger. It teaches us how to be a better team member. It teaches us to be more serious, to be more focused. And so sometimes it's okay to lose, because if we learn from it. And so that's how I think, and that's how I think about my Mary Kay business. All right, the next one is whatever you focus on grows. Okay, let me go back. I missed this one. Oh no, I didn't. Okay. Oh, okay, I see. The next part says ask up. Okay, ask up. This is where I messed up on my paper here. Okay, ask up. So if you are having a disappointment, ask the person above you. Be careful who you are talking to. If you're telling your husband, talk to your husband. Don't get me wrong. But if you're telling him all the downtimes that you have, every disappointment that you have, he's going to get a little sick of it. He's going to want to protect you and be like, why are you doing this? You're maybe not sharing with him as much of the positive things, so you're definitely sharing with him your frustration. Okay, so just be careful be careful the negative people in your life and people who are going to speak negativity into you, and people you get advice from who don't know anything about Mary Kay. I've had girls who've been like, I've talked to, this and this person, or this, even sometimes a spiritual leader who, like, they don't have any insight about Mary Kay. They don't even know what Mary Kay really is. So be careful who you talk to, and get advice from, because they may not even have, they may not even know what advice to give you. Does that make sense? And be careful how much you tell certain people. As far as just, sometimes it's good to hold. Sometimes we need to let it out. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes it's good to, like, not continue to talk about it. And that's the next one, is that whatever you focus on grows. Whatever you focus on grows. And that's why sometimes it's like, I'm not gonna mention it again. I'm not gonna talk about it again. Because whatever I focus on, it's just gonna grow. So I'm gonna talk about how I'm disappointed. It's gonna keep getting bigger in my mind. So yeah. So just be careful how much you talk about it. And the next blank is, work brings your power back. So remember, if you're disappointed, or you can just get to work, just if you have a cancellation, work, rebook, start booking people during that time that you would be gone. Don't stay home, or stay home and go in your car. But if you have a cancellation, use that hour, 2 hours to work. That was your Mary Kay time anyway. Use it. Get your power back. And also, the next blank is, you become like the 5 people that you hang around the most, including people on Facebook. So be careful who you hang around. And the next blank is, if you think you can, this is a quote from Mary Kay, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right. So how are you thinking? Be careful what your thoughts are. Become more aware of your thoughts. That's one great thing about this business. You become aware of the negativity more with your thoughts. You can change it then. And then don't make things such a big deal. It's like, this is not the end of the world. Don't let your fear of looking bad hold you back. Just go for it. Don't make it such a big deal. Let's get thicker skin. Let's be strong. It's a positive affirmation. I have thick skin. I can handle things. I don't get offended easily. I don't get offended easily. I'll tell people that. I don't get offended easily. I don't. I try not to, with God's help. I try to be understanding of people and their situation. All right, so those are some of my success tips to help us become more emotionally strong and make it through that emotional cycle faster. All right, so to wrap up, you have your homework for MK University Part 5. Create a goal poster with visuals, make a positive affirmation sheet, and if you do not have Voxer, be sure you get on it. That was on last week as well. So that's one of the main ways that you're going to stay positive and get trained, is communicating with me through Voxer on a regular basis. Sometimes if you don't know what to say on Voxer, just let me know, like, hey, clearly I'm on Voxer. Or another great thing is, tell me what your Mary Kay plan is for the day. Like, hey, I'm going to be making booking texts today. I'll be texting 10 people at 5 o'clock during my lunch break. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be following up with customers. All right, just kind of let me know what's going on, and that's a great way to communicate with me as well. At the very bottom here, I do have books that I suggest. And again, you can click on them to see more if you're on our Google Doc that I'll put on our unit website. I have the actual link. If you see it in blue, it's the link from Amazon. You can click on, you can actually read more about, like, the book and order that book. I also have some YouTube videos. I will say my personal favorites are the YouTube sermon series called A Beautiful Design by Pastor Matt Chandler, who actually lives in Dallas. His church is in Dallas. These were incredible. I had to listen to them more than one time because they were like mind altering. There's some on men's purpose, men's hurdles, and men's redemption. So I would suggest listening to one on women's purpose, women's hurdles, and he talks about how our biggest, everything that our issues that we deal with, our hurdles that we have, kind of boil down to the way we compare ourselves and perfectionism, how we try to control things. And it is such an amazing sermon, but it doesn't stop there, because we go on to the next one with women's redemption and how we can be helped through God to overcome those hurdles that we have. Amazing. So those are some of the things I would suggest too, if you would like to become more intentional about growing yourself positively, and from me, from a God-based, a Christian-based viewpoint, not self-help necessarily, but but through God's help that we can become changed and we can become stronger. These are just some of the suggestions that I have. So there's many more too, I'm sure, but those are just some of the personal ones I like. So, all right, thanks, girls. Once you have finished your MK University, take a picture of your homework, box it to me, and you will be receiving a prize. So thanks, and